what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the When in Seoul Podcast. Danny Cho here, and I am with Bobby Choi. He's in the house.
What's up, everybody?
Woo, 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 woo. I know for the last few episodes, you guys were kind of sick and tired of just me and Bobby talking. So we brought a special guest for this episode.
Very special guest today.
He's a good friend from back home, actually.
Mm-hmm.
We have Linus from Linus's BBQ in the house.
Linus came in the house.
Hey.
Woo.
Thanks so much for having me.
Woo! Bam, bam, bam. So Linus is the owner, creator of one of the finest, if not the finest, American-style barbecue joints here in Seoul.
Oh, man. I don't know how to respond to that, but thanks so much for the
Oh, dude, I mean, look,
glorious.
Look, man, matter of fact, your barbecue is better than what I can find back home in LA, for the most part.
Yeah, we
Wow.
talked about this on a previous episode.
Yeah.
We were talking about how your barbecue
I want to
is-
know what episode so I can go back.
It was actually the best of Seoul.
The non-Korean food episode.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Right. But yeah, like, I mean, I like barbecue because I'm a fat guy, right? And so I like meats, right? And then American style, like the brisket, the smoker, that kind of barbecue, like I was not aware of it because like I would go to places like Phil's in San Diego or Lucille's in Orange County in LA.
It's the one in East LA.
There is nothing. It's just
There's Bledsoe's.
Oh,
Is it?
Bledsoe's. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's in
Bledsoe's.
South Central.
South Central.
South
Yeah.
Central. And then they opened something recently, a few years ago.
Do they smoke barbecue though at Bledsoe's?
Yeah,
They
of
do,
course.
right?
Yeah,
They do,
they
yeah.
do.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
And so I was eating that going, okay, this is good. But then when I started touring doing stand-up and then I would go into like North Carolina, I would go into Texas and I'd be like, okay,
Oh,
this is like, you know what I mean? Like before I knew what bacon really was, I thought Oscar Mayer bacon was bacon.
oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you go, wait a minute, that's not real bacon. You know what I mean? Like I was lied to all my life. And that's how I felt about most American-style barbecue back home. I mean, like this. I'm not saying that Lucille's and like Phil's and all those other places are terrible, but I was like, this is not the truth.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, Danny.
Yeah.
That you really have been touring around the country, so you have had a good sample across.
Yeah, and you know, and like I'm not knowledgeable in terms of like Kansas City style versus like the dry rub, but you know what I mean, like and all that kind of stuff. But like I went to just a random joint next to my hotel in North Carolina, and I was like, what the heck is this? How come I have never had this before?
Was it in a gas station? Something like that? Hole in the wall?
It was a hole in the wall like diner. You know what I mean? Like, and it was just a big old black lady, like, and just you kind of like, you remember Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles?
Yeah.
Where Big Mama, but you better get them elbows off of Big Mama table, right? It was that kind of attitude.
Wow.
And I stuffed myself. And so I missed that. And when I came here and you were open, I was like, Linus. At first, when you were telling me about like you're gonna, the barbecue, I was like, all right, whatever, you know what I mean? And that's how I feel about a lot of Western food in Korea.
Yeah.
I'm like, it'll be good enough.
I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
Thinking that.
No, but then I ate it and I was like, wait a minute, this is better than most of the stuff I've had in Southern California for sure.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
Thanks, man.
kudos.
I appreciate it.
Well, a little background on Linus. Let's talk about where you're from. You're actually from Alabama, so
Yeah, I'm from Birmingham. From Birmingham, Alabama. I'm from a city called, two places, like Irondale, Mountain Brook. So
Okay.
Anybody out there who's from Alabama?
were you
knows
born
those
and raised there?
I
basically?
was okay. So this is the thing. I was technically born in L.A.
Oh,
and
really?
then I
Okay.
was, and I think maybe 3 to 6 months after I was born, my parents they fled to Alabama. That's how, I don't know. I just made that up. But they moved to Alabama, and it was for most of my life, I thought it was the biggest curse. Oh God, I just insulted all the people from Alabama. Okay, no, but not
so
really.
What you're saying is, if your parents never fled to Alabama, we would be talking about Linus's
Tacos.
Linus tacos.
No, I've been watching too much Ozark lately. But I spent all my childhood and all the way up into I left for college and there, and so the funny thing about about the food and or just my thing is like my parents and my grandmother made a lot of Korean food and everything, and I'm so sorry to say, but I really didn't like it. I didn't like Korean food growing up. And
I get it.
I get that too.
Yeah.
I didn't like kimchi until I went to college.
Yeah,
actually,
I didn't.
I
appreciate
hated
it till
kimchi.
later. Yeah,
Yeah.
And I also just wanted, it was a different time. I wanted to assimilate so much. I wanted to eat like carrots and peas and steak like my friends and mashed potatoes, things like that. And luckily, well, not luckily, but my parents worked a lot, so I had to eat out a lot. And so like the only time I got to eat mashed potatoes was at KFC.
Yeah,
You know? That's
Ooh,
the
which I
only
love.
time.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love their mashed potatoes.
And it's really ingrained in me. I mean, I know there's better quality mashed potatoes. Like, you make it from like, chicken, drippings and meat drippings or whatever. But I like that kind of artificially taste gravy that's really peppery and everything. So at my place, I don't know if people know this, but KFC in Korea, they don't have mashed potatoes.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They don't have it.
Yeah.
So there was a void, like a empty void in the market. So I made my mashed potatoes in that.
It's
thing.
different too. My favorite thing at KFC back home was this coleslaw.
Oh yeah,
I would go specifically for the coleslaw, but here it's different. It doesn't taste the same.
It's different. Yeah. I did another coleslaw. Like in
Yeah.
Alabama, I don't know if you've had our food before.
Yeah.
And we have a slaw. It's called slaw on the raw. There's no mayo in it. Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of pink and vinegar. Recently, I made it like a mayo slaw, and it's like it's kind of KFC-ish too. So
Yeah. I
Oh,
noticed
so
that. I
This
noticed
is
that.
your homage
it
to.
is my homage. Yeah. But I say it proudly, and I give all props to them because it really.
I wonder,
me,
I hear kind of a hint of a Southern accent
Really?
in when you're speaking.
Oh, now I'm gonna be
But
self-conscious.
I wonder
about
when you were growing up, did you have a full blown Southern accent? Like, hey,
Hey, y'all.
y'all, how y'all doing? My name's Linus.
Yeah.
I make some barbecue.
Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Just come on down. Maybe that's how you should talk to Korean customers. Like, I know y'all like kimchi and all, but you got to try this slaw on the raw.
People tell me all the time it comes in and comes out, or like last time I talked to you, you had an accent, and this time what happened to your accent? And I feel so weird about it because I don't realize it, and sometimes I lay it on thick. Oh god, it was about to come out more.
We want it to come out.
Yeah, why are you not like? Why are you holding back?
It's a complex, man, and I'll tell you a story. I know when it happened. I know exactly when it happened. I think I was about 5 or 6, and my mom had a wig store. Now I know it sounds really random, but a lot of Koreans.
That's crazy. My dad's first business was a wig business.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's a phenomenon in the United States that like Koreans had wig businesses, and I later on found out like at that time Korea was not that wealthy of a country, so a lot of the human hair came from South Korea. Now it comes from India.
Oh, maybe
That I
that
didn't
was
know.
the connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
they had a main supply. It was like there was a wig cartel and everything.
A wig cartel.
Wow, that explains so much.
Yeah, it
because
does,
I know
yeah.
so many people in the wig business that are Korean.
Uh-huh.
My father, he opened up his business in the 70s.
That's right.
And then he basically passed on that playbook to like 3 or 4 of his friends,
Yeah.
and they all stuck with it. To
Right.
this day, they own it.
and then it went to like beauty supply, and there's like a progression.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if I'm just guessing here, but I think the beauty supply it tended to kind of cater to the African American
That's
population.
my cousins own that kind of business in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So yeah, beauty supplies, and then they said, funnily enough, the best selling things they had in their store were like gold teeth.
Yeah, we did that too. Oh my god!
Like
So
you guys had
gold
grills
cap-
before.
We did.
Grills
Yeah.
before grills were a thing, huh?
No. It was a thing, and then it went away, and it came back again. And so, So this is the thing, man. So it was wigs, and it became like more about the black community. Back in the '70s, you would get like Jewish customers too, and it was more of a wide range. It'd be kind of a mix. But then later in the '80s and late '80s, it became more African American, and then through that, I think Koreans kind of went through other like side industries that were very close,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then like black fashion, like urban fashion,
Right.
And
starter jackets.
Exactly.
Were
Yes.
huge.
It just
FUBU.
went, yeah,
Mm,
and
yeah.
but-
FUBU.
yeah, and FUBU and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence at all. It's a progression. I think.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Let's
But you didn't answer why you have a complex.
Oh, the complex. Okay, so what happened is like my mom had a wig business, and there was this lady named Bonita, and she was like this white lady, and she had a big like '60s beehive do, and I don't know. They were talking about pretty ladies because she had a son, and then we're talking about the Charlie's Angels, and I remember, Farrah Fawcett.
Yes.
I mean, she's beautiful. She, like at the time, she was just like this golden goddess, right?
Right.
And I was like, oh, Farrah Fawcett's so pretty. I want to marry her like that.
That's what you said.
And I don't remember this, but I remember what happened after this. And Bonita, she was like, Mrs. Kim, did you hear what your son said? He said, "Purred it," and then they laughed and laughed and laughed, and I was just like, "What the?" And I just from then on, I was really sensitive about it.
Really?
I was really I was really sensitive about it.
No, because I bet you if you went to a Korean girl and said, howdy, ma'am, I think you're really pretty, right? They'd be like, what? This person might be from another country, you know what I mean? Like because I think they're familiar with like the American accent, whatever that is, right? Or they're familiar with like the English accent, or maybe the Australian accent. Well, you hit him with that American saturi, man. You hit him with that. I think you're really pretty, man.
It stands out though. When I first met my cousins from North Carolina, I remember they were like telling me about, I like Spam, but the thing in the South was, at least for them, was something called treat. It was like another version
Was
of
it
Spam.
spelled Treet?
Yeah, something like that.
I vaguely remember that.
And so they're like, y'all here like Spam? Like, you gotta try that treat.
You gotta try some of that treat.
Oh, so you're Bobby. We've been hearing about you down in North Carolina. That was so weird. I was like, wow, are you making this up? But it's so cool. I love that accent though. But let's talk about how you came to Korea. Like, we're really curious about, I'm sure, how you came about. Like, I know we moved to Korea at the same time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you bringing your barbecue. I'm going to come to Korea and I'm going to open a barbecue shop. Like, it kind of like came naturally after moving here. Because I know you used to do pop-ups and stuff like that before.
Yeah, I did that. That was like that's what I live for, actually. It's funny, about the time that we moved here, it was about,
like 7 years ago?
Yeah,
Right.
7 years ago. I was kind of going through like a professional crisis. Like I just kind of quit my job, and I thought I was going to go back to school, of all things, for acupuncture.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's so random.
Wow.
Like, I was going to study like Chinese medicine, and then I just realized I'm not cut out for school. I'm way too old. Like, I'm not. There's just no way. And I was starting to like, what am I going to do? And then we have a mutual friend, Sarah Lee.
Yes.
And she had
right.
just come out here, and she wasn't here for very long, maybe not even 6 months. And she was she had this
food blog,
food
right?
blog.
Or travel blog.
Yeah, and she
Seoul
wanted
in the city.
Yeah, she really encouraged me to come out. So I had to give props to her for encouraging me to come out, and it really helped out and helped me kind of settle down.
That's
here.
right.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were first here, one of the first things you did was this travel show, like a food show.
Yeah.
That never made it onto
Yeah.
YouTube. Or
we
whatever.
worked. That was our goal. Was like I was going to give it 3 months, and we were going to try to make this travel food show. And oh man, well, it just never made it on. And to be really honest, like, I just don't think we were very good in front of the camera. I'm speaking for myself. Like, I just wasn't very interesting,
It was a good concept. That I remember I was a PA on that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
this, or
You were a PA, so you were getting coffee and like that kind of stuff?
No, well, I was just there for support. And I was actually in one of the segments, where I was a guest with you guys.
Yeah.
And I remember that being really cool at the time, because I figured there needed to be more things about Korean food. 7 years ago, there was not much. Korean food wasn't all the rage back in the States yet.
Yeah.
And I thought it should have taken off, but I guess it never came out. So
I think we shopped it around, and I guess we just didn't have enough backing and a solid theme. But the beautiful thing that came out of it is that we found through her contacts somebody who became eventually a really good friend, Jen Moeller.
That's right, Jen.
Who was living with her husband in Hong Kong at the time, and they were visiting, just happened to be visiting for the weekend. We met up with them, and they were like, "I love Korea," and they ended up moving here.
I remember that. Yeah,
we hired Jen for that. We flew her out here from Hong Kong. She fell in love with it too. They ended up living for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. I remember when we first got here, we were doing this thing called Ghetto Gourmet.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And you would bring your smoked pork.
Yeah.
Your pulled pork.
Yeah.
To basically every time we met up, you do something like that. I remember because when we lived in LA before we moved here, you used to do things like barbecues on your rooftop or in your apartment in K-Town. I remember you used to do chili, you used to barbecue, and it was always great. And you were very, very meticulous about making whatever you did.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I always thought you would open like a Linus chili
Really?
out here because you had great chili.
Thanks,
I loved it.
That would have been a lot easier, I'll tell you that. Man.
But when we came here, you were doing the barbecue, and then when you started doing the pop-ups, we would always look forward to those. Mm-hmm. And I remember one point, everyone was like saying, "Hey, when are you going to open up a shop? You got to do this," and you were very against it.
Yeah, I was.
I don't remember what your reasoning for that was, but do you feel like?
Oh, I know why. I've had, I don't know, man. Like the idea of a restaurant really scared me. To be honest, it's really hard work, and I can, even now that I've done it, it is. But I had family members who have restaurants. Do you guys have family members who do any kind of restaurant? Or friends?
I do have friends.
I have friends.
Any of them that are like kind of, I mean, even if they make a good living, they're struggling. It's painful. It's a brutal existence. It really is.
Yeah.
And I just saw that firsthand, and I was just like, I don't know if this is for me. I just don't know. But with the barbecue, I really wanted to make it about barbecue because I loved it, and it was.
Yeah, you're passionate about it.
It was just one of the first times in my life that like I didn't lose interest in something really fast, and I actually wanted to be better at it. I've always wanted to be good at one thing, and I'd just been seeking that all my life, and nothing ever really, had it just caught me like that. So
well, it's definitely taken off for you out here. I mean, at least as an onlooker, seeing you start off with your pop-ups and then opening up a shop, and then you've opened up a second location now.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You've also had some other locations as well, right? In like 백화점s or like
did. We actually did like short-term pop-ups in some department stores. We did one in the Myeongdong Lotte. We did one in the Galleria in Cheongdam or Apgujeong, and a few other even shorter term ones. We even had a small like delivery kitchen in Yeoksam. And these were just like little experiments that we did, here and there, and just to feel out how the rest of Seoul was.
For me, simply put, like if you like meat, you like meat, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the flavors of American style barbecue is something that Koreans are not fully used to.
Yeah.
So is it so I know some people that are in the restaurant business here that kind of caters toward the Korean palate. But you seem to be a little bit more like, nah, you're gonna eat it the way I'm gonna give it to you, right? And so what was your thought process on that? I mean, I know in terms of the pop-ups, it's probably, but you probably met a lot of, through these pop-ups, it was more like or Western people or people that were more familiar with barbecue, right?
Yeah.
So what was your thought process and be like, yo, you're gonna eat it the way I give it to you?
What are your challenges for that matter?
Well, I think I just started with what I liked first. I mean, pulled pork was my first love. I mean, when I was a kid, that's what I ate, and ribs too, like spare ribs. But pulled pork was the first time I ever finished my plate. That's what my mom told me.
Okay.
And then, and since I was such a picky eater, she just kept feeding me that and ribs, and it was a treat. It was also like an easy way to shut me up and feed me, So like, it was just something I always loved. And the question was,
The Korean palate,
Yeah.
you know,
Korean
like
palate.
Yeah.
just
When I started making, I made just a pulled pork sandwich, and I was like, I consider it Alabama barbecue, barbecue,
Barbecue.
Golly. So I don't know. I just I wanted to be true blue about that, but you know, you could somebody who was like a contrarian to me could easily say, hey, but you're not totally. I mean, you know, everybody doesn't eat, you know, barbecue on a platter, and what's with the buns, and you know, there's all.
right.
It doesn't look exactly like that. So
you have catered to
it's not-
Koreans.
kind of, but it was more like I know I'm true blue in terms of the flavors and the process, the process, the flavors, and that type of thing. That's going to be authentic.
Because I know you had a problem with Korean people like cutting off the burnt,
Yeah,
part,
in
like
the beginning.
which is actually not burnt. It's it's part of the
Yeah, it's the bark, it's the caramelization
bark,
on the outside,
right.
and then you eventually tell people that, and then they eventually stop doing it.
So they don't anymore.
Yeah, I never see it anymore. Yeah, every once in a while they'll see. I did see, like, you know, there's a smoke ring, like a pink ring,
Right.
and it just blows their mind. Like, why is that pinkness on the outside? And they'll cut that off too.
They think it's raw.
Yeah, this is undercooked, but you know, eventually people don't do that anymore. Yeah.
Because are you educating customers at the same time and
Yeah.
telling them this? You know, I know your chicken.
Yeah.
Actually, your chicken is actually pink,
It's pink too. And it's totally on purpose. Yeah.
but it's because the smoke makes it pink, not because it's undercooked.
Well, actually, it's both. Okay, so the smoke will give a reaction, and the pinkness from the smoke will be on the outside, closer to the surface of the meat. Right?
which is a phenomenon.
Yeah, which is a phenomenon, like a chemical reaction thing. But the pinkness that people get freaked out about, you know, about chicken is we're all, even trained chefs will make the mistake of freaking out and being like, this is undercooked. But what it comes down to is there's two things. Sometimes this is going to get really nerdy. Okay, but what do you call it? The
Nerd it up.
oh my God, what's the word? It starts with an M. I'm having a brain fart now.
Maillard?
Not the Maillard reaction, but it's it's whatever's inside the bone. God, I can't believe
Marrow?
It's not the marrow, but it's something in the marrow that seeps through the porous bones of the chicken, and close to the bone you will see pink or even purple.
Okay.
Right? And so, and in some cases, not just pink, but like a pretty bright red, you know, and that freaks out a lot of people. But the reason why I insist on this pink chicken is because I don't want to overcook it. I don't want dry. I was about
Usually
to say dry.
back
Right.
home in the
Chicken, yeah.
U.S., when I'm home, I won't touch anything pink
Yeah.
when it comes to chicken.
Right.
But also I know that U.S. chickens are bigger because they're packed with like steroids and you know whatever you know they're
Right.
processed in different ways. In Korea, the chickens seem to be smaller,
They are small.
and
Yeah.
so it makes me feel more comfortable, and I feel like I can have something maybe possibly undercooked.
Yeah.
And I'll go for it. The same goes for in Japan. They do that. They have like raw chicken, like sashimi chicken, which is really weird. But I would be down to try it just because I know it doesn't go through that process.
I think we've been kind of brainwashed to think, and for good reason too, but the U.S. has a standard where they don't want – they make these blanket laws to make it overly safe. So like some pimply 16-year-old kid working a fryer, even he could mess up and it'll still be okay to eat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But in reality – it can be cooked. Chicken can be cooked a lot lower. So they suggest it be 165 degrees, but if you can cook it down to 130 even if you sous vide it. You know, if you you know.
I've had your chicken.
Yeah.
At the new location in Haebangchon.
Is it awful?
And I will say it's great.
It's awesome.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing.
And I'm
It's juicy.
but I'm ignorant, right? So I saw it and I was like, oh, this is pink.
Yeah, you freaked. I know.
Yeah, it's pink. But then here's the thing. At the time, and I still am, you know, I want to lose some weight. So every now and again, like in my mind, I was like, if this gets me sick, awesome, I'll lose some weight. That was my that was my thought process.
So funny.
Right? I was like, awesome, whatever, dude. I'm gonna lose some weight. But then I ate it and I'm like, no, this is not bad. This is great. This is juicy. And I remember somebody was making like hand making like sandwiches, like with the chicken meat and stuff like in the buns, right?
Well,
and,
you encouraged that, Linus, right?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sandwich making.
and I was like, what the, like to me, I even me who's an American, I've never seen pink chicken, right?
Right.
And to be honest, it was in the beginning visually I was like,
Yeah.
but for all your listeners, if you're trying out Linus's chicken at Haebangchon, I was gonna say pink chicken. If you go to Haebangchon, oh man, you gotta eat it.
Yeah,
you gotta try it.
I've had it. I haven't gotten sick.
Yeah,
I feel a social responsibility to say one more thing. It's going to sound nerdy again.
Go for it.
For any of you guys trying to make pink chicken and you're working with a thermometer and you think, okay, 165 is safe, but I want to go lower and I want something juicier, just remember the lower the temperature is, the longer you have to hold it at that temperature. So when you hit 165, you can take it out and just stick your teeth into it. If you go to 155, you have to hit, as soon as the thermometer hits 155, you got to wait at least 2 to 3 minutes.
For our listeners out there, Linus cares about his food.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when you go check out his spot in Itaewon or Haebangchon, just know that you're getting like well thought out planned food. And you're gonna have a great time. You're gonna keep going back. And so, well, I want to talk about this before I forget it. I know. The smoking process.
Yeah.
You know, that's a new thing, I think, in Korea in terms of barbecue. I think I heard this, you say this before, but were you one of the first people to bring an actual like industrial sized smoker into Korea?
I don't know that 100%, but I would.
'Cause I know you had troubles bringing it in.
Oh God, I had a hell of a time. I don't even know what's considered cursing here, but yeah, I had a heck of a time. I don't know, but I'll tell you this: I'm not. A lot of people think I'm the first barbecue restaurant, and I'm not. I definitely, when I was doing pop-ups, I might have been doing pop-ups before a lot of barbecue restaurants opened. But I don't want to take credit from anybody that
that you're the first.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because I actually knew of a place. I forget what the name was. There was a barbecue joint before you opened up in Hongdae.
Oh yeah.
And
Austin.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Austin.
Austin.
Yeah. There was a place. I mean, even JR's open.
Right,
and that
JR's
was
had
right in the
their
middle
own-
of Itaewon.
yeah.
And I mean, there was a few places. I think Beale Street even opened in Hongdae too. They kind of beat me to like a real brick and mortar.
But I feel like the first time I had something truly smoked was through your barbecue.
Oh,
Like
right,
I didn't know
thanks.
that was a thing. I didn't know that it was. You could taste basically a billow of smoke within.
Yeah.
billow of smoke. What are you trying to get into a food
I mean, it's
show
really
right now?
smoke. Like you taste the pork.
Yes.
Yeah.
But one of the big key taste of it is just that smoke hitting you like in a strong way.
Yeah. Thanks.
And I didn't know that was supposed to be desired, because smoke is like, but now I love it. I
Yeah.
think
If you
it's
do
like-
it wrong, it can be bitter. And I've actually kind of played with that element too. You can over smoke something. There's such a thing.
And I know you were before you brought in those smokers, you were smoking things on your rooftop, like in a traditional Weber.
Yeah, I got this Weber Smoky Mountain. If anybody knows it, it looks like
Probably illegal.
yeah, probably. It looks like an R2D2.
Okay.
Like it's like a pod.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't even buy it. I traded it. I worked for my friend Robert Joe.
Yeah.
He was doing he was directing a commercial, and I was kind of a PA for him. And he goes like, "I tell you what, you're not a smoker I got. Like, how about I don't pay you and I just give you that?" I was like, "Yes."
Wow.
I was like,
Wow.
"Yes."
Wow.
And that right there, I was able to start my business with that. I started like just smoking on it, and then another buddy of mine, Keon. He knew I was doing this. He's like, "Hey, buddy, I know this guy with a restaurant. They're looking for a new menu item. So why don't you see if you can sell your pork to them?" So like that was like my first client. Yeah.
Oh, and you were doing that for a while.
I just did it for like maybe 4 or 5 months, and it was like the first time I was like, "Oh my God, I'm actually making money." It wasn't very good money, but it was
Still.
like, wow, I'm actually getting something, and then somebody was telling me about pop-ups. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But it seemed like their model was like these supper clubs that were like one night or a pop-up, you stay open in a random place for a month or a week.
I think it was starting out to be a big thing in San Francisco, and then it just kind of made its way to LA. I remember pop-ups were kind of a thing when we left LA.
It was really funny, but I think some of those pop-ups, it was because of like Mission Chinese by Danny Bowen.
That's right.
But I didn't know
first.
about Mission Chinese. I didn't know Danny Bowen. I just heard of somebody doing it, and later on I got to meet this guy,
Yeah, that's right.
But I was inspired by that, and I figured there was this bar right on the corner for me, and I just said, hey, can I sell my food here? And then you guys can keep your alcohol sales. And I was able to convince him because all your margin comes from alcohol.
Yeah.
Drinks, And I'm doing all the kind of the heavy lifting. If you just let me sell my food and let me keep that, it'll be kind of like the admission price like at a club,
the first pop-ups I've been to in Seoul were yours, actually. And now I noticed they're doing it weekly.
Yeah, there's pop-ups all over the place.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Really? We just went to one this past weekend where they were doing Cuban sandwiches.
Oh, wow.
Somewhere. And then
at Blacklist.
Right.
Oh,
at Blacklist.
Yeah. Chef D.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, so
that concept.
The other question is the concept of pop-ups, right? Is that something that Korea has adopted to? I mean, I feel like the concept of pop-ups is still, it's a Western concept almost, right? So like the Blacklist, and I mean, I know they do it like every once a month, right? I mean, you started off in the pop-up world, I guess, right? So, but do you think Korean chefs or Korean potential restaurateurs, will they do that move? Because I haven't seen Korean chefs.
I think Korean people in general. Oh God, that's such a generalization.
Yeah.
But I think they're too impatient to do pop-ups.
Because it's a way of testing.
Yeah, and to do it for a prolonged period of time. They might do it as a marketing thing or whatever. But there was a couple people that heard of pop-ups. They had no idea pop-ups were related to food. It was like cosmetic pop-up or like somebody doing like something that wasn't food.
Yeah, there was a shop on Karasuge. I remember that the business would change every week.
Yeah.
Or it would just be people bringing their mulgon.
Okay.
What do you call that in English again?
The inventory.
The inventory. Yeah. They would bring that to the
Wow.
spot. And then
Wow, you
that's
forgot
just the tip
English.
of the iceberg. We're forgetting everything. We're actually becoming dumber within.
But what do you think? Do you think it's that was a specific pop-up store, or do you think it's just because Karasuge is too expensive and just people are like, yo, I can't.
I think it was just someone that owned the space, and they were just trying to make something of it, and they didn't. Eventually, they sold the space for like a permanent spot. But I mean, that concept of pop up, it's not lost on Koreans. But for food, I have heard of a couple places that is straight up Korean chefs doing it. But I don't know. For me, it was your barbecue that introduced me to it.
I think with both barbecue and pop ups, they were not brand new concepts. Like I wasn't a first to those things, but I might have helped popularize it. Definitely, I definitely feel confident.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the lines at your first location when you guys first opened up, and the lines in there, I was like, what? Wow, this is crazy.
Believe me, I was the same.
I
was what?
Yeah.
We were scared.
Yeah,
it's still like that though. The lines are really out the door.
But, we've been holding down the fort.
That's great, though. And we want to give our listeners, kind of your take on when the best times or best days to go where they don't have to deal with the lines.
Sure. No, you know what?
And I really want you to say, well, it's always gonna happen.
Tough. Make reservations.
But, any inside scoop for our listeners?
Oh man. Well, I don't want you calling me directly. I'll say that. But yeah, you can try. Come early.
You don't have a break time, right? There's no 2 to 3.
Right,
it's closed.
We used to. We got rid of that. We're open every single day. Almost 365 days a year. There's only 2 days a year that we close. Possibly because 설날 and Chuseok.
Yeah.
And actually, even this past Chuseok, we didn't close. So what I tend to do is, because I know these are really important holidays for everybody, I give my guys a vote. I do a company-wide blind vote. I say, who wants to work on Chuseok and whatever.
Oh,
and,
that's good of you.
Yeah, and then I'll pay like triple or double depending on what department they are.
Oh, wow.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I went there on Chuseok this
Yeah.
year.
Mm-hmm.
I brought my in-laws, and my father-in-law. He is like very traditional ajashi Korean man. Like he doesn't even like Korean Chinese food. Like he only sticks to his Korean food and his makgeolli.
He needs
soju.
some pop. You know what I'm saying? He's black belt Korean.
But we sat down and he's like, let's order a soju. And I was like, oh wait, I don't think they have soju here, but let's try something new, you know. And so everything we've ever brought him to, like he doesn't even like 양꼬치.
Oh,
like
wow.
he doesn't like. He's very staunch. Like Korean food is.
I feel like 양꼬치 is so.
But I took a risk with him bringing him to Linus BBQ because I had a feeling that he would like it, and he actually loved it. He had one thing that he wasn't too happy about.
Okay.
Yeah. He's okay with there not being soju, but he said he would have ate twice as much if he could have brought his own kimchi.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah. So I wanted to
kimchi.
talk about that. You know, sort of on the lines of like kimchi and like pickles.
Yeah.
You know, that's such a big deal in Korea.
This is where someone could argue that Linus did kind of Koreanize it, right? I offer pickles. That's not something. Well, no. Some places offer pickles with the Texas barbecue. Pickles and raw onions, are commonly done. I offer jalapenos. Because I like it.
Yeah.
Right. I like it,
That's not necessarily a barbecue thing, though, right?
Yeah. I don't know. There might
Jalapenos.
But you haven't, like, if you go to Vato's Tacos, which is a Mexican fusion place in Itaewon, they do kimchi carne asada fries.
Right.
So they sort of cater to... Oh, sorry. I'm just like
Yeah.
that was
Are you hungry?
My stomach is growling like crazy.
Oh man, maybe I should have brought barbecue. I tried to bring barbecue for you guys, but I don't think they would let us eat it in the studio.
No, I don't think so. But it's completely fusion, right? And to be honest, when I talk to my parents about eating non-Korean food, that kimchi is what they use to cut through all that heaviness, right? And so, obviously you can't have kimchi with pizza, at like a establishment here. So they use pickles or pepperoncinis, right?
You know what Koreans eat a lot of at my place?
What?
As much they ask for seconds, even thirds. The coleslaw.
The coleslaw. Great.
The coleslaw without
slaw on the
mayo.
roll.
Yeah, slaw on the roll.
That's my favorite, actually.
Because maybe that's what feels like it cuts through the heaviness of all that. You know what I mean?
And the Americans, like it's still brand new. They don't even touch it.
They don't touch the slaw on the roll?
Unless they put it in their sandwich. But
Okay.
usually if they have a choice, now that we give them a choice, they'll ask for the mayo slaw, the KFC slaw.
I tend to go for the slaw on the raw.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you?
Yeah.
I like that too.
I like speaking of Korea, like keeping on this Korean palate thing. Like I wanted to bring up something that I know you have an opinion on.
Oh.
Is the Costco kimchi?
Oh man, we're gonna go there again.
And I don't mean kimchi sold at Costco.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I know what you're talking
like
about.
the food court going there when they.
The onion crank.
Yeah, the onion crank. You get the onions and the relish.
Yeah.
And you mix that together with ketchup and mustard, right?
yeah.
That's basically all it is.
It's
right?
ketchup, mustard, and raw diced onions.
But I mean, it's like a Korean phenomenon. It's not. They don't do that in the States.
Nowhere else.
Right? And so,
I've never
and I know
had it.
you do it too.
Really?
Because I haven't been to Costco in Korea yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
You gotta
We
go.
should
man.
go. We'll go
Yeah.
after this.
Yeah.
We'll go-
And
and just eat the Costco kimchi.
That's what we would do in the States,
but
man. If
Koreans-
it's close enough to your house, you would go.
Yeah.
Get a
Yeah.
hot dog or something.
Yeah.
Why
But
not?
Koreans do it. I know why they do it because they don't offer kimchi at the food court,
Right.
Right, and so you need something to cut through that hot dog grease or the pizza,
Yeah.
and they'll make their own banchan basically,
Yeah.
and then they'll put that on whatever they're eating, whether it's a bulgogi bake
Yeah.
or like
It's good.
it's great. I love
It's
it.
actually good.
Really?
Yeah.
It just looks so kind of offensive because they make plates of it.
Okay.
It looks wasteful,
like a full plate.
but they
of it.
actually clean it.
They use it.
They eat it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it myself. My stomach is growling like crazy right now.
So you guys nicknamed this a Costco kimchi, or someone else says, or
I mean, if you look online, a lot of people have covered it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a thing, man.
We need to go try it, because I mean,
Yeah.
to me, like, okay, it's onions, ketchup, and
Relish.
mustard, like whatever, right? But
It's good. Like
Yeah.
so you throw it on a pizza?
You put it on pizza. You put it on bulgogi bake. You put it on
But
everything.
you know that stuff, like they pile it on. So what they do, they have to keep replenishing the stock. So I feel like the Korean Costco's here, they go through a lot of onions and relish and condiments, like more so than anywhere else in the world. But I don't know, like that's basically the kimchi phenomenon, right?
Yeah.
And so you, as Linus BBQ, you guys have done like the slaw and the raw is like catching on. That's kind of your kimchi. But would you allow kimchi in your shops?
Oh,
like
man.
if people brought it,
No, I think anybody who would bring. You know,
BYOK.
did you
Yeah.
know Did you know that we don't carry ketchup?
you don't have ketchup.
We don't carry
yeah.
ketchup. I don't, because you asked for it, didn't you?
No.
Oh, you did.
But people ask for it all the time. Sure.
People ask for it all the time, and some people get upset. Like, you don't have a right. You don't have a right to tell us how to eat this. I was like,
Southern people?
Yeah. I get people like angry emails, you know, and when they're politely angry, and they're like, you can't tell people how to eat this. Like, but I can.
Yeah, it's your establishment. You don't have.
You can open your own barbecue restaurant if you want. You put ketchup on it. I'm not being that mean, but I mean,
You know what will be mean for you? Just send them our way. I'm gonna be like, you can't. You can't tell people how to do their business.
But I'm just saying, man, like there's another way to eat things. We have this white sauce that I've seen kids take that white sauce, like kids that don't eat anything. Their parents are like, oh my God, that kid, my son, like just put it all over his face and wouldn't stop eating it. You know? And that's, I actually love kids. I love it when kids come to my restaurant because I just sit and watch them like a stalker or something, because, you know, they don't lie.
Yeah.
You know, they put it in there and they eat it.
No filter.
You know, and they don't like it, they spit it out, you know? And old people like your father-in-law. Like, they don't lie. They're just like, oh, I like this and I don't like that.
Well, if I bring my father-in-law again, can he bring his own kimchi?
He can bring his own kimchi.
Yes.
Seriously, you can bring.
That's pretty awesome.
So you know what some people do? They go to McDonald's upstairs.
Yeah.
They get a couple ketchup packets. They bring it in.
And you're not opposed to that?
Well, what it started like this. There's this one guy. He just loves to bring his own ketchup, and he takes photos of it with my food, and then sends the photos to me.
Okay.
Like taunting me.
Look what I did.
Yeah.
Look what I did.
Yeah.
We also wanted to ask you about your just like any nightmare stories about customers or like just throwing people out. I don't know. We're just trying to be controversial
Yeah,
here.
I mean, you get the ugly ones sometimes.
Like not physically ugly, but just personality wise.
Oh, boy.
I mean, like people demanding stuff.
There's a lot of
like,
demanding people. There's a lot of demanding people. Actually, that's kind of, oh God, am I going to alienate people? Okay, I found that in different neighborhoods, you know, just from the experience in the pop-ups.
Yeah.
It's really like, so Itaewon people, it's a certain crowd. I think it's stabilized now, but when I first started, believe it or not, my first Korean customers after like the foreigners started coming in, the population started to turn. It was like ajumas that were luncheoning to like a crowd of ajumas, and it was really wild. I was like, they were very demanding. They're the ones who like asked for the like more panchan, the slaw and the raw.
It's
stuff,
not enough.
Yeah.
You're not giving me.
And they want it for
enough of
free,
this,
and we give it to them for free. You know, it's like, oh my God, this is my mom yelling at me. You know,
서비스.
yeah. Oof. When I started, I did a pop-up in Galleria, and that's a real tough crowd.
The Galleria.
Is the Galleria technically Cheongdam, or is that in
Apgujeong?
Apgujeong?
I know it's an Apgujeong Rodeo.
Yeah,
it's
it's rodeo. It's
Yeah.
rodeo, right? And they're really particular. But then again, I didn't really have my things together. I wasn't really tip top, and
Your crap together.
I didn't have my crap together.
Your scheisse together.
I'm trying, Danny. I'm trying. So, yeah, like, people are like, what is this packaging? What, can you, they give me a frown and what is this, But yeah, they're a little demanding. They can be demanding. And so I'm kind of scared to open down in Gangnam.
Why? Because you think they're, for lack of better words,
macadamia nut in a bowl kind of thing.
They're just so particular. I feel like they can just blacklist you or something, or like, they don't like you, then they can, you're done for or something, and that's the end of you or something. I don't know. I mean, I have too many fears. I'm a very fearful person.
But you're doing pretty well for yourself. Like, do your employees call you 사장님?
They do.
Do you make them, or was it
this
forced?
Is weird. I never used to think I was into that title thing.
Uh-huh.
I didn't until like you get used to it, right? You get used to that, and then someone starts, I don't know how to. Oh God, this is bad.
No, I get it, man. I mean, like, imagine if some like trainee comes up to me and is like, "Hey, Linus, so like, what do I do?"
You know what kind of annoys me? I don't mind if we're having a one-on-one conversation. Having a cigarette and or something talking, and they call me Linus. But someone called me Linus from across the room.
Yeah,
I was just like, oh, that's setting a bad example.
Mm.
I feel like I know it doesn't mean that title doesn't mean that much to me, but I know it means something to them.
Because I'm a Hanguk Saram.
Yeah, and I think
yes,
it's like I don't know if this is true, but it might feel like they're trying to get away with something. I actually feel like they're trying to get away with something and maybe kind of, undermine. I don't know. This is the fear. You know what I mean? They're like going to do it, but it happens. Like one person does it, and then more people do it, and then I have to pull them aside. It's like, hey man, it's not that I'm trying to do a power trippy thing, but I think things can go awry if you just keep doing that. That kind of thing. So. Yeah.
That's a nice way to do it, though. Like, if you were, I feel like any other situation.
But does that sound power trippy to you?
No, not at all.
Really? I mean, because obviously I don't have a business, so nobody's gonna call me 사장님, right? But like,
Danny's 사장님.
But I don't feel like I needed to be called hyung or whatever.
Yeah. I don't care about that either.
But there was a time when this dude who's very, I would say like 5 years younger than me.
Yeah.
The same distance is a difference between me and Bobby, right? Right? And then, but not that he didn't call me hyung. Like he, how like they curse like, but like a brotherly curse.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like he's like, "Hey, Shaki," right? Like that, right? But he said it to me,
right.
a Korean dude, and I was like, "Wait a minute, hold up!" Yeah. I didn't stop him, but my brain went, "Hold up, homie, I don't like
what year
this."
were you born?
Yeah. I almost went Hanguk Saram on this
That's
dude.
funny. Like I have a similar situation where I was, friends with this guy for a while, and then he moved to Korea, and then we did this podcast together, and he was like 5 years younger than me. And he never called me young. And he just always talks down to me and stuff. Like, I'm not cool with that.
Hey, but you know what? Actually, no, I don't do that anymore, too, even with your wife. Now, before I used to call her 형수님. I don't even do that anymore. Oh, man, what a terrible 동생 I am.
Well, Linus, do you have any advice for people, I don't know, like for opening restaurants? I'm sure you get this all the time.
Yeah,
like people
I do.
come to you with ideas and stuff, and perhaps they're giving you those ideas to kind of get like encouragement to open it themselves. Do you usually tell them don't even do it?
I look into their eyes.
Yeah.
I look in their. I know this sounds hokey, but I look into their eyes when they're telling me this, and you can tell when somebody's like, they're talking about a food like, man, I grew up eating this, and I love this thing, and it needs to be here, or versus like, hey man, what would be good? You know what everybody just really like, and then I think this would be good, and that would be good. Man, if you just put it in this neighborhood, it's gonna blow up, and we should do that. You can just tell. You can just tell, or like, there might be, oh God bless this one friend of mine, but actually several friends. But there's people who are kind of in the twilight of their careers. And I can, and they've got some age on them, and I can't believe like, like I want to retire doing what you do. I would love, this would be a dream. It's like, be careful what you ask for, man. Yeah. Like there's some literally heavy lifting going on, and I've got permanent damage on my bones and shoulders, and from doing some of the stuff all by myself in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a business that you want to retire into. It's a young man sport. I'm telling you. Yeah, for sure.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, and if you are that passionate, and if you don't have a lot of money and whatever, test it out. Test it out for 2 reasons. Test if your food, you think there's a market for it where you are. Secondly, can you endure the pain?
Mm-hmm.
Do you love it enough to endure the pain?
You have to be passionate about anything you do in this life if you want it to, you know, if you wanted to be
Screw
have
passion, man.
longevity.
Do you just not give up?
Oh,
Yeah.
Are you not going to give up? You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of
it.
like our business. Like,
Yeah.
you know, with comedy and with like music, like, you know, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. It's like we're not giving up until, you know, because
Yeah, can I say something
in our
like
blood,
that? This
yeah.
is totally a little one, but I'm actually kind of I know this sounds stupid again, but like I'm a fan of this podcast because I listened to 2 episodes, one with Brad. That's a crazy story how he came to be.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then Chongyun, the first female comic here.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy too,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I was like, wow, those stories were really amazing.
We only bring on the best, man.
Only the best.
I love, yeah.
I have a question for you. For what? So now you're in the restaurant business. Obviously, like you're not gonna just every day eat your own barbecue, right? So like if you're at home, you have a day off, right? What is your go-to like meal?
When
like,
I want to make it, or if I'm like lazy. I'm lazy.
Okay,
God.
that's what I mean. Like lazy. I'm lazy. So like, what is like a quick like? All right, this is a move.
I tell you, I fry an egg.
That's it.
Yeah, I fry some eggs and rice. I'm
yeah.
serious.
Oh, the good keranbap.
Yeah.
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 Do you throw anything on that, like some changdorim?
Well, I'm too lazy to go buy
sauce.
spam. Like I don't have anything in my fridge, and then I'll go like I need to get healthy, and I'll go buy a lot of stuff, and it just rots in my fridge.
Okay.
I'm terrible.
So
I'm
it's
a
just
terrible
it's
human being.
keranbap.
keranbap.
Yeah.
A little changiram, maybe.
Yeah, you know, Chuseok just passed, and I was lucky enough. Somebody was really nice enough to give me like a bunch of gogi, so I stuck that in the freezer, and so I'm eating a little gogi at a time.
Okay.
And I don't even season it. I'm just a criminal.
So I have
Just a criminal.
I have this idea for a restaurant. Yeah. And I want to do this keranbap pop-up. Can I use when you guys have off hours?
Yeah.
Can I use Linus BBQ as a pop-up?
You're welcome
location?
to, man. Yeah, come on.
Keranbap.
You know
That's
what
not
I
a
think?
bad idea,
You know what I
actually.
think would be awesome?
Yeah.
Different flavored onion ring batter.
Oh yeah.
What? So give me an example of a different flavor.
So I was thinking of like Doritos flavors, American Doritos flavors.
Yeah.
Like Cool Ranch, Nacho Cheese, Flaming Hot, like the barbecue. So like it's just an onion ring, but then you just powderize it and then you
That can be done.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they do the Cheetos chicken here.
Especially
Right.
if it's a
That's-
chip.
That's
chip
awful.
Oh, what is
There's a fried chicken with Cheeto powder on it, but the Korean Cheeto powder.
It's so Korean Cheetos taste completely different from American Cheetos.
Yeah, it's too sweet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They do that flaming hot
Yeah.
Cheeto
Yeah.
kind of batter.
Everything's got to be ruined by sweetness here.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a shame.
It's getting better though. I think Korea is getting better with that because when I first got here, whenever I'd get pasta, you know, you could tell that they put a lot of sugar or whatever, honey, some sweetener into their sauces.
yeah.
But now you can get authentic Italian food. I feel like, or like we've had this conversation a lot. on our
because
podcast.
Western food has been stepping up and getting closer to what I remember from back home.
Yeah, Danny, you came at a great time.
Oh yeah,
Like,
Everything was paved out for
Yeah.
you, well, except for your comedy. Oh my god.
my stand up that hasn't been paid out for me. I am
I know you
brick
are
by brick, my friend. But like I'm very excited. And the other part that I'm excited about is that, you know, stereotypically, a lot of Korean Americans that came here,
Yeah.
like the old stereotype was, oh, they're here to teach English,
Yeah.
and then get the hell out, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of the stereotype. But now I see so many Korean Americans, like, you know, like as entrepreneurs, they're doing their
VC,
food thing, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And I'm like, yo, you know, I mean, I would have never thought that Korean Americans would do fashion here, but they're doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, they're I see bars, I see like it's not we're not just English teachers anymore. You know what I mean? So to me, that's always exciting. And I felt like there was a period of time when like a lot of Korean Americans were kind of leading the way in terms of the Western food explosion here in Korea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of that came over time. Like I feel like Vato's tacos, right? Kenny and those guys, they didn't come here to do tacos.
Yeah, they did.
Right?
Yeah,
they were here doing other work.
Yeah.
And then they just were trying to find something they could be passionate about. Basically what Linus did coming as well. But now, do you see other like kyopos or foreigners coming in strictly to bring their cuisine? Like
I know a couple that you guys know Chuck from Cali Kitchen.
Yeah, Chuck.
Actually, I'm not sure if I think he kind of. I'm not sure. I actually don't know this for sure, but I had to get this feeling. He came and he was like looking around and like, yeah, I'm gonna do this and start doing.
I haven't been there because I'm vegan now, and so I haven't been able to try it. But you've been there, Danny, right?
Yeah. I've had their chili. I have not had your chili, Linus, so I'm very curious.
You know,
I've been trying to get him to do Linus chili forever. It's really good.
There's a lot of good chili out there. There's some places like that do some chili, but they don't serve it all the time. I guess I got to make it.
Do you remember when we first moved here?
Yeah.
The burger thing hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But there was like a couple of burger places. Like there was a place called Chili King.
Yeah.
In Itaewon.
Yeah.
It's still there, right?
No, I don't think it's still there.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, I think they moved above Shenanigans at one point. I don't know if they're still there, but I remember that was like the only decent like burger and fries I could get.
And that was right down the road from you.
Yeah. But it still wasn't like like a great juicy.
Yeah. Well, they're doing this artisanal thing, and I used to laugh at that, but I get it now. Like what they're doing, they're trying not to mash the meat too much and lose all the fat. They're doing something called a smash burger, and the reason behind that is like the more you handle it, then the fat ends up on your hands and not in the. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting
Are those foreigners bringing in those concepts and doing that?
No, there's Koreans doing it, man. Like there's right around the corner from me a place called Pipit, and I think it's one of the best kept secrets in Hannam-dong and
that's
Itaewon.
encouraging to hear because I think Koreans take ideas and bring it to another level.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they completely fail, but at least they try.
I don't think he failed. I think he's
okay.
What kind of cuisine is Pipit?
Oh, Pipit! It's and this is. I don't have the heart to tell this guy. I was like, because I said, what does Pipit mean? He was like, it's the sound. So we started off as a food truck, and Pipit is like the sound of the truck. Pipit, wow. And I was like, that's so clever, man. Like, I'm just like, God, But the interior, the branding, everything is really great about that place. He makes it look like a 50s diner, all that stuff, and he does it well, and the burger is honest and it's good. I don't know. I'm not saying it may be for you or for me, for others, but I enjoy it, and it's not because it's just close to my house. It's a really good burger.
But you also have been here 7 years, so do you ever worry about your palate being changed to a Korean palate?
I remember one of the first times I went back to LA, and I've been hearing all this about Five Guys Burger.
Yeah.
And I was driving toward K-Town. I saw it on Wilshire, and I was like, I just pulled over. I wasn't even hungry. I just pulled over. I was like, I got to get this. I got to get it in that greasy brown bag because I saw all these YouTube videos. Right. And then I ate it, and it was delicious. And then about an hour later, I was just spraying diarrhea.
Well,
yes.
I notice whenever I go back home.
I couldn't say that?
No, you can't say that. That's not a curse word.
Whenever I go back home,
yeah.
Whatever I eat, I can tell that Koreans always complain about foreign food being salty.
Yeah.
I actually agree now.
Oh.
When I go back home and I'll have something like Five Guys, it is saltier. Mm-hmm. And when and I noticed that also when the Shake Shack first came to Korea.
Yeah.
Like
you thought Shake Shack was
really salty.
Here in Korea?
Did it change?
The one in Korea.
Did it change?
I haven't been back. I've been vegan for a year, a little over a year now. But
I'm actually kind of not like, because to me the Shake Shack in Korea tastes a lot different than the Shake Shack back home. You know what I mean, in New York. Mm-hmm. And so like all these like franchises, I guess, given that they don't taste like back home, I kind of hesitate to go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I go, well, this is not what it tastes like back home. I'm not saying that it's not good, but it's not. So I might as well go to I don't want to say a mom and pop shop, but more of like an independent place. Like even a burger joint.
You just go where you like.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right.
Just like it. Yeah.
So, I mean, even the burger. I haven't had like a knock my socks off burger in Korea yet. Yeah.
Oh, you haven't?
I have not.
We should do a burger tour.
Yeah.
There's some places that I can't eat it, but
Right.
I'll take you.
Okay. And
There's
you're
some places that
just
really
going to
love.
watch me eat? Linus, you want to go?
I'll go.
I have a
I'll be
weird
spraying
way of-
diarrhea again, but I mean, but you're right. I can't.
The salivation is real.
Yeah.
you know. So, but we don't want to forget that you actually brought in some gift certificates today.
Yeah.
That we're really grateful for. We're gonna give them away to some listeners, but actually, in reality, we're just gonna use it for ourselves.
I don't care. I don't mind, man.
No, but guys, if you have any food, restaurant suggestions, please email us at peninsulapod@gmail.com, or you can leave it on the comment section of Patbang, and we'll choose a winner, and you will get some certificates to Linus's barbecue. Now, these certificates are only good for the Haebangchon location, and you might be able to try out the pink chicken.
Yes.
Yeah, and don't be afraid of the pink chicken.
Don't be afraid.
We gotta
Yeah.
spread this
You gotta
word
love
out.
the pink chicken. We like it pink inside.
Linus, you want to say anything to the listeners?
Just thanks for listening, and it was a pleasure to be with you guys.
Do you have anything to plug, or
Oh.
your Instagram or something like that?
Oh, actually, one of the things I'd like to say is that like Haebangchon, our Haebangchon Jom, it is technically a chicken restaurant, and we do sausages too and everything. But one of the things I like to do to encourage is that it's actually dog friendly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And Haebangchon is it's like a village, and I really love it there. And everyone's friendly, and they know each other. And I want people to know that their dogs are welcome. And lately, I've been playing around with like rawhide, like homemade rawhide, not the poisonous
Oh, wow.
kind.
So you have snacks for them.
Yeah, I'm making chicken necks and bones. Again, there's a thing that's very controversial that dog owners don't believe like dogs should eat chicken bones, but they're not cooked. They're dehydrated, and they're okay to eat. And I've tested on several big dogs as well as small dogs, and they're cool with it.
Linus, you're changing the world, man. Like, one chicken leg at a time. But so you don't allow cats or anything, just only dogs,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
I don't mean to be racist toward cats, but I'm sorry, man.
What is it? Speciesist?
Yeah, let's say dogs for now. Don't bring.
That's
don't
pretty
bring
awesome that you have a barbecue spot in Korea
Yeah.
that allows dogs. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
But the one in your Itaewon spot, right? As of now, it's not dog friendly.
It's not dog friendly. It used to be because we had an open patio, but now we're going to enclose it for winter, and so it's technically inside and customer. And it's just too crowded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean that as like but it's just
Yeah.
there's not enough space for a big dog to sit there and feel comfortable. So
And when Danny and I were thinking about going
yeah.
to this week or
Yeah.
so, will you hook us up?
Yeah, man, you know I'm gonna hook you up. You know I'm gonna hook you
Oh,
up.
the
Come on.
We'll get
fried
the-
mac and cheese balls.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And I love the pina colada
Oh yeah,
for the couples pina
Yeah.
colada because it comes in a pineapple.
yeah.
It's just I love it. I know that you're a big pina colada
I'm a big
enthusiast.
pina colada fan.
Yeah. And now you have your tiki drinks that
Yes.
come in like tiki cups.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is another really cool way to drink an alcoholic item.
It's just in a different cup.
And for our vegan and vegetarian listeners, Linus does have the Veggie Bomb, which
yeah.
you can get, which is what I have whenever I go,
Yeah.
minus the cheese.
Okay.
But that's a great
Yeah.
veggie sandwich.
Bobby, are you vegan or are you just vegetarian?
I'm vegan.
Okay.
So I take the cream sauce
Okay, yeah.
off as well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah.
Oh man,
Linus
I'm so
BBQ.
hungry. I'm so hungry right now, dude.
Yeah. Oh, now.
Linus, well, we've got to have you back. Let's see if our listeners like you first.
Okay. We'll talk about something else. I don't
Thanks
know.
again for being here, man.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time. We hope you liked the show. Let us know what you thought. And goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Today